Absolutely love it.
Shinola is an incredible American story. It talks about what happens when industry comes back to America. This visionary hired 70-some-odd people off of welfare. One person that was making minimum wage for 4 years is now the spokesperson for the company. Go on their website, Shinola Watches, and who's the distributor here? Only M.J. Christensen Diamonds.
M.J. Christensen, located at Boca Park. Looking for something magical to do this Valentine's season? Ethel M. Chocolates is here to help you celebrate at the Lights of Love Garden Display. From now till February 16th, come brighten up your evening underneath 500,000 gorgeous lights, perfect for a night with your family, friends, or Valentine. And while you're here, enter for a chance to win 2 tickets through February 11th at noon to watch the Golden Knights play on Valentine's Day from our luxury suite. For more information or to shop now, visit ethelm.com.
Everyone knows that even good people fall on hard times. Your credit cards get maxed out and you get behind on your taxes. Unfortunately, the IRS is not as understanding, and they won't stop until they collect. They have the power to take your paycheck, freeze your bank accounts. Even your home or business could be at risk. It's simply not worth it to take on the IRS by yourself. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. When you call, be sure to ask about the Fresh Start Initiative. It's a special IRS tax debt assistance program that could save you thousands, even tens of thousands. Optima will immediately provide you with a team of professionals who could protect you from the IRS, ensuring that you get the best possible outcome. The Better Business Bureau has awarded them an A+ rating, and you will too. So put the hard times behind you and call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
On Twitter, follow us at the LV Sports Line and at ESPN 1100.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
So here you go, guys. This is the back end of the Valentine's Day parlay. You go to M.J. Christensen and get your wife or your girlfriend something special that she's going to love for Valentine's Day, and then you present it to her over dinner at Joe's. You're going to have a good night. I can practically guarantee it, all right? 702-792-9222 to make the reservations at Joe's, and you better get them in quickly because Valentine's Day they're going to be absolutely packed. Kelly Stewart will be joining us in just a second, but first we'll get the angle of the day from Ralph Michaels.
Dave, we used the Knicks under last week, and we talked about how offensively inept they are, and now without Porzingis, it's even worse. 8 straight unders for the Knicks. Detroit, 3-12 over-under their last 15, 1-7 over-under as a favorite. Number still 206. Game 505, 506. Knicks and Pistons under 206.
I just did an impressive cover, by the way, because I was completely ready to just forget about the angle of the day and head right to Kelly.
Kelly would have reminded you.
Yeah, she probably would have. At Kelly in Vegas, although I don't know if she's back in Vegas or not. There has been some airline issues apparently at the
She's been drinking for 3 straight days with K-State leading the Big 12. She doesn't even know what to do. It's February.
That's possible. All I know is Kelly was not happy about evidently having to pay $30 for a blanket in an airport where it's like 10 degrees. What's going on? Are you still there or are you here?
No, I'm back in Vegas. I got a late night flight out last night. I was very happy to do so. Yeah, you laugh, but the way the Kansas City airport is set up, they have these automatic doors to go out to the jet bridges, but obviously they were stuck open over where I was sitting. And so it was all the cold air just coming in. And it was fine when there was 5,000 people in a 1,000-person area. But as soon as everybody made their flights and I had to sit there, it was not enjoyable. So, you know me, I always have to complain on Twitter.
I think the complaints were justified. But, the rest of the trip sounded like it must have been pretty good, especially the basketball part, because Kansas State did get the win over Kansas. That was a game the Wildcats really wanted, and they came through after kind of a shaky first half and delivered when it counted.
Yeah, absolutely. That first half, they looked good right out of the gate, and then in that final 9 minutes, I think they scored 3 or 4 points, and I was just heated walking up the stairs. I have a fun story for you guys. I almost got ejected from the Coliseum because I smuggled out a bottle of Sutter Home out of the Legends room. And apparently that's a big-time no-no. If you get an invite to the private room, you're not allowed to smuggle out booze. So I had to talk my way out of that one. But all I could do was laugh because all I could think about is how much booze I've actually smuggled into that basketball arena over the years. And if I was going to get kicked out for a bottle of Sutter Home, that was the lowest point in my existence there.
Yeah, you've snuck in booze 100 times, and the one time you smuggle out booze, you're going to get kicked out, right? That would only be justice.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Luckily, I just played it off really well, and the girl goes, "Oh, well, you're not drunk and disorderly." I go, "I know, I'm trying to get drunk and disorderly. That's why I'm resorting to drinking a cheap bottle of wine."
Yeah, Sutter Home, boy, they're really going for the high-end stuff there. What do they got next week? Bally High or Thunderbird, maybe?
Bad stuff, it was either that or hard booze, and I've been really trying to behave myself, especially when you go to a game with your family. It's not like I really need to smuggle in that fifth of Jack Daniels anymore.
What's the vibe of the Wildcats right now? I mean, if you look at Ken Pom, they're still actually not even, well, they're barely in the top half of the Big 12 rankings, according to Ken Pom. But, the way they're playing defense, I think they're better than that.
You're right. And Ken Pom has them losing to Baylor, losing to Texas, losing to Iowa State. I don't know if he hasn't adjusted this team and this defense. He has them ranked in the top 5. I mean, I was really impressed. Pretty funny. Another story, I moved over to sit with my mom. We couldn't get all these tickets together, so I moved over to sit with my mom. And when I came back, the guy I was dating and Dean Wade's grandma were sitting together.
Oh, cool.
Somehow he invited her to sit in my seat. So pretty funny stuff. But speaking of Dean Wade, he has just been playing great ball, as you've seen since his return. Camus Stokes, Barry Brown Jr., all these guys have really just been playing well together. And I think that's kind of the key here. But, yeah, as far as the Ken Pom ratings go, like I said, I don't know if he just hasn't adjusted to this team. I definitely use Ken Pom a lot, but I also take into account what I've seen myself. And, I made K-State a 1-point favorite. He had K-State a 1-point dog in that game. So when K-State got to 2.5 and 3, I was going, whoa. And I chickened out on the 3. I ended up playing K-State money line.
Just talking about that one step further, Ken Pom had K-State 18 when they played Lehigh back at Thanksgiving week, and that's the game Wade went out with Marquette and Tulsa. Those 2 losses.
He's a huge component.
And he's worth several points to that team. So I think they're going to get back there. I mean, the loss to A&M is one thing, but that's a non-conference loss.
Meaningless.
Yeah, that's on the road, so I don't even look at that. I think they're going to be back. I have them as tied as the best team in the Big 12 with Iowa State, and you know that, Kelly, from a few plays I've used on them. So right now, I think they are the most complete team with the way they're playing defense in the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. They just got to keep the momentum going here, and that was what I was kind of nervous about playing KU because they had played so well against obviously a crappy Oklahoma State team, but still only a 3-point favorite. I was looking ahead there, and that was an absolute monster game by Dean Wade. But yeah, if they can beat Iowa State in Manhattan, I think they kind of have some smooth sailing until they play at KU in about 10, 15 days from now.
That's going to be tough because I think Iowa State really is establishing itself as not just the best team in the Big 12. Their offense is really good. And I can see this team, I can see them playing on the final weekend. I mean, I think Iowa State's got a chance to be a legit dark horse, if you can call them a dark horse, come tournament time. This is a team that could win a bunch of games.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Dave. I think that they are probably, like you mentioned, tied for first place in the Big 12 with Kansas State as far as rankings go, power-wise. We just haven't seen a couple other teams play up to their level, and then KU, as they've just been struggling on the road ever since they lost their big man a couple of weeks ago. It's just been not good for them, and I do think K-State will lose that game in Allen Fieldhouse. I wouldn't be shocked if they do and not going to be sweating it because I believe K-State now has a 2-game lead.
We do need to give props to Steve Prohm. Remember the Cyclones team 13-18 last year, 4-14 in the Big 12.
And they start off this season with half the team suspended.
Yeah, we played against them early against the tournament.
They're good.
Three of their top three players were out in a couple of those off-season tournaments. So Steve Prohm deserves all the props he gets, man. He's doing a hell of a job.
One more Kansas State question, because it's a big game tomorrow. Baylor just had its winning streak snapped. They lost at Texas, and it was a decisive loss. The Bears have been a big surprise team. So they're at home coming off a loss. Kansas State coming off the big rivalry win against the team they hadn't beaten in several years. Is this a dead spot for Kansas State?
I'm not sure if I would call it a dead spot or so. And I thought, speaking of dead spot, the Texas game for Baylor was when I went to the game with Jason King from Bleacher Report. He lives in Kansas City and Dallas. He happened to be in Kansas City. I said, hey, I got an extra ticket. Come on down. He's actually a big Baylor fan, even though he does cover KU. And I said, as long as you don't wear blue or cheer for KU, then we're good. So he had a bet on K-State. So he was in my good graces. But then, of course, the topic of Baylor came up. And I said, listen, they have been excelling way above what I thought that they would be doing. And I feel like this Texas game is going to be a letdown spot. Sure enough, I was looking on Ken Palm going, oh, wow, Texas 3-point favorite. He's like, oh, my gosh, I'm going to bet Baylor. I'm like, I think this is where their run ends. So you're right. That does scare me. Had they beaten Texas, I would have felt better about this game. Both teams off big wins. But Baylor's going to be real hungry here, and it definitely makes me nervous. I think Ken Palm has them 5-point dogs in Waco. So K-State's going to have to step up big, but I always say his name wrong. It's either Drew Scott or Scott Drew. Don't laugh. Scott Drew. I always have to say that in my mind because I always screw it up. I will say this, Bruce Weber does have his number and has historically played well against Scott Drew, so hopefully K-State can come to play and keep that first-place spot.
Let's talk about some other stuff that you're involved in. The trip is over and the football season's over, but you're still working. I mean, it's not just the end of football season doesn't mean no more Kelly until next season. You got a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, over at Wager Talk, we're doing a ton of stuff with college basketball in full swing, NHL, NBA. I mean, this is the first year I've really ever done any stuff with NBA, and it is quite overwhelming. Like as Ralph alluded to, I had a really fun 3 days, and then trying to catch back up with all the trades and all the moves with the NBA this week has been really fun. So I'm just going to focus on college basketball up until April, and then hope I get a real vacation because going back to Manhattan, Kansas when it's 7 degrees isn't exactly what I would call a vacation.
Yeah, and the airport, really the doors were frozen open?
Well, not quite, but they were open and the air was blowing in. And when it was so crowded at 3 o'clock when there was tons of flights going out, it wasn't bad. When I was one of the last flights waiting to get out of town, it was pretty chilly there by the end, and so I just caved and bought a blanket.
Yeah, there you go. $30 for a blanket. Gee, boy, I mean, I'm in the wrong business.
It's the airport, Dave.
Well, I know, but I mean...
I also paid $9 for a hot chocolate, too, Dave, so just
$9
goes right along with it.
$9 for a hot chocolate. And that's in Kansas.
Yeah.
Imagine what it is at LaGuardia. Oh, boy.
It's like $13 at LaGuardia. Actually, I got one at JFK a year ago. I think it was $11 for a coffee.
Yeah, I can believe it. And it probably wasn't very good either. All right. Good stuff. Welcome home. Glad to have you with us. I'll see you next week doing videos, I assume.
Yep, I love it. Wednesday afternoon, as always.
There you go. Kelly Stewart. Follow her on Twitter, @KellyInVegas. Good spot. We will come back. We have not covered our marquee matchup yet, and that is going to be the Nuggets and 76ers. Good battle in the NBA tonight. That's next.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out today because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts GROW to 85850. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text GROW to 85850. Ask about the Bosley Guarantee, GROW to 85850.
If you need service for your vehicle, there are only two places that make it extremely convenient for you. Visit Busy Boots Automotive at Durango and Flamingo or Zip Zap Auto at Durango and Cheyenne. They provide free diagnosis and free towing with repairs, plus free shuttle service, Wi-Fi, gourmet coffee, and much more. No appointment needed. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On your first visit, get 10% off up to $50. At your convenience, visit Busy Boots Automotive on Durango and Flamingo or Zip Zap Auto on Durango.